What if I told you that the pain you cried about last night was not ignored by Allah? What if that heartbreak, that silence, that unanswered dua is actually the beginning of something bigger? Stay with me, because what's coming next might change how you see everything. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. All praise is due to Allah, the most merciful, the most loving. Peace and blessings be upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when the pain feels unbearable, when your heart is heavy, your eyes are tired from crying, and your soul feels like it's carrying a weight no one else can see. You smile in front of people, but inside there is a storm. And in those moments, a question whispers into your heart. Does Allah see what I'm going through? Let me tell you with certainty, Allah saw every tear you cried in silence. He heard every dua you whispered when no one else was listening. He knew the pain you couldn't even put into words. Nothing, absolutely nothing, escapes His knowledge. Sometimes we think our pain is a sign that Allah has abandoned us. But in reality, your pain may be a sign that Allah is preparing you, elevating you, purifying you, and bringing you closer to Him. Because Allah does not waste your suffering. Because Allah does not waste your suffering. Every heartbreak you experienced, every disappointment, every moment of loneliness, it was not random. It was written with wisdom. It was designed with purpose. You see, when Allah takes something away from you, it is never just a loss. It is a redirection. When a door closes, it is not rejection. It is protection. Maybe you lost someone you loved deeply. Maybe you were betrayed by people you trusted. Maybe you made dua for something again and again and it still didn't happen and you felt broken. But what if that heartbreak was actually saving your heart? What if that unanswered dua was protecting your future? What if what you lost was never meant to stay? Allah sees what you don't see. And here's the most beautiful part. When Allah sees your patience, your sabr, not kind where you are perfect, but the kind where you are struggling and still turning back to Him, He responds, not always immediately, not always in the way you expect, but always in the way that is best for you. Allah says in the Quran that indeed with hardship comes ease, not after hardship with it, which means even right now in the middle of your pain, ease is already being written for you. You just haven't seen it yet. So what happens next? What happens next is that Allah begins to open doors you never imagined. He replaces your pain with peace. He gives you strength you didn't know you had. He brings people into your life who heal what others broke, and most importantly, He brings you closer to Him. Because sometimes the greatest gift is not what you receive, it's who you become. A heart that once relied on people now relies on Allah. A soul that once chased the dunya now finds peace in the akhirah. A person who once felt lost now feels guided. So if you are in pain right now, don't lose hope. Stay patient, keep making dua, keep trusting, because Allah saw your pain. And what He is preparing for you next is far greater than what you lost. There are moments in life when a person feels completely unseen. You may be surrounded by people, yet no one truly understands what is happening inside your heart. You carry your pain quietly, you hide your tears, and you learn to smile even when your soul feels heavy. In those moments, the thought can creep in, does anyone really see what I'm going through? But as believers, we hold on to a truth that changes everything. Allah sees it all. Allah's sight is not limited like ours. He does not just see your outward actions. He sees what's hidden deep within your chest. He sees the tear that falls in the darkness of the night when no one else is awake. He hears the dua that never made it past your lips, the one you kept in your heart because you didn't even know how to express it. He knows the weight you are carrying, even when you pretend to be strong in front of others. Sometimes the pain you feel is so personal, so specific that you think no one could possibly understand it. And that may be true for people, but not for Allah. Allah understands not only what you are going through, but also why you are going through it. His knowledge is complete and perfect. His knowledge is complete and perfect. He knows your past, your present, and your future all at once. So when you are tested, it is not because He is unaware of your struggle. It is because He knows exactly what that struggle will produce in you. There is a deep comfort in knowing that nothing you go through is unnoticed. Every moment of patience you show, every time you hold back tears, every time you choose to trust Allah instead of giving up, it is all seen and recorded. Even when your pain feels small to others, it is never small to others, it is never small to Allah. In fact, the sincerity of your struggle may be something that raises your rank in ways you cannot imagine. This awareness changes how you view your hardships. Instead of seeing them as random or meaningless, you begin to see them as part of a divine plan. You realize that your pain is not ignored, it is acknowledged by the one who matters most. And when Allah sees something, He responds to it with His wisdom, His mercy, and His justice. Sometimes that response comes in ways you don't expect. It may come as inner peace during a difficult time, it may come as strength to keep going when you feel like giving up, or it may come later when you look back and realize that what hurt you was actually guiding you towards something better. So even if the world overlooks your pain, even if people misunderstand you or fail to support you, remember this: Allah never misses a single detail of your life. He sees you, He knows you, and He is closer to you than you think. That alone is enough to give your heart hope, because when Allah sees your pain, it means your story is still being written with care, purpose, and mercy. Hardship is something every human being tries to avoid. We naturally seek comfort, ease, and happiness, and when difficulties come into our lives, they can feel like interruptions or even punishments. But as believers, we are taught to look deeper. What if the hardships you are facing are not meant to break you, but to build you? What if they are not signs of Allah's ghadab, anger, but to rather signs of His care and attention toward you? When Allah tests someone, it is never without purpose. Every difficulty carries within it an opportunity for purification. Think about it. How often do we turn back to Allah when life is going perfectly? And how quickly do we raise our hands in dua when we feel helpless? Hardship has a unique way of softening the heart, of reminding us of our dependence on Allah, and of bringing us back to Him in sincerity. In that sense, your struggle is not pushing you away from Allah, it is pulling you closer. Your sins, your mistakes, your shortcomings, these are all part of being human. But Allah, in His mercy, provides ways for us to be cleansed. One of those ways is through trials. The pain you feel, the stress you endure, the sadness that weighs on your heart, these are not wasted. They're a means through which Allah wipes away sins and raises your status. Even something as small as a worry or a moment of sadness does not go unnoticed. It becomes a source of reward if you remain patient. Elevation is another hidden gift within hardship. Sometimes Allah wants to raise a person to a level in Jannah that they could never reach through their deeds alone. Is so He tests them not to harm them, but to elevate them. Every moment of patience, every time you choose faith over despair, you are climbing higher without even realizing it. What feels like a setback in this life may actually be progress in the sight of Allah. It is also important to understand that hardship shapes your character. It teaches you resilience, humility, and empathy. A person who has experienced pain often becomes more compassionate toward others. And they understand struggles that others cannot see. In this way, your hardship is not only transforming you internally, but also preparing you to be a source of care, goodness in the lives of others. Sometimes we only focus on what we are losing during difficult times. We focus on what is being taken away, what is not going our way, or what we wish we had. But if you shift your perspective, you may begin to see what is being given instead: strength, patience, closeness to Allah, and a deeper understanding of life itself. Allah does not test randomly, and He does not test unfairly. He knows exactly what you can bear, even when you feel like you are at your limit. And He promises that no soul is burdened beyond its capacity. That means your hardship, as heavy as it feels, is something you are capable of overcoming with His help. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try to ask, what is Allah teaching me through this? Because within every hardship, there is a hidden forsosta opportunity to grow, to be purified, and to rise to a level you never thought possible. Losing something or someone you deeply care about can feel like a piece of your heart has been taken away. It leaves behind confusion, pain, and sometimes even a sense of emptiness that is hard to explain. You replay memories, you question what went wrong, and you may even find yourself asking Allah, why did this have to happen? In those moments, it is very difficult to see anything beyond the loss itself. But as believers, we are invited to trust in a reality that goes far beyond what we can immediately understand. What you lose in this life is never outside the knowledge and wisdom of Allah. If something has been removed from your life, it is not an accident, nor is it meaningless. It is not an accident, nor is it meaningless. Allah, in His infinite knowledge, sees what you cannot see. He knows the hidden outcomes, the unseen consequences, and the paths that lie ahead of you. What you perceive as a loss may actually be a form of protection that you do not yet recognize. There are times when we become attached to people or protection or dreams that feel perfect for us. We invest our emotions, our hopes, and even our identity into them. But sometimes what appears good on the surface carries harm beneath it, harm that only Allah can see. Perhaps that relationship would have led you further away from your deen. Perhaps that opportunity would have brought stress, fasad, corruption, or regret into your life. Perhaps what you wanted so badly would have ultimately hurt your kalb, heart, in ways you cannot imagine. So Allah, out of His mercy, removes it. This removal is not rejection, it is redirection. It is Allah guiding you away from something that is not meant for you and steering you towards something that is better, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. But the human heart struggles with this concept because we are attached to what we know, not what we don't know. We grieve what we lost because we saw its value, but we cannot yet see the value of what is coming. Trusting Allah in these moments requires a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing only on what has been taken, try to reflect on the possibility that Allah is protecting your future. Sometimes Allah removes a person because they're not meant to walk with you in the next chapter of your life. Sometimes He closes a door because there is another one that aligns better with your purpose, your growth, and your akhirah. It is also important to remember that this life is not meant to be a place where we hold on to everything we love forever. Part of our journey is learning to let go and to place our ultimate attachment in Allah alone. When something is taken from you, it gently reminds your heart that nothing in this dunya is permanent and that true immense security lies only with Allah. In time, with patience and reflection, many people look back at what they lost and realize it was actually a turning point. They see how that loss led them to something better, something purer, or something that brought them closer to Allah. What once felt like an ending becomes the beginning of something far more meaningful. So even if your heart is hurting right now, hold on to this truth. What left your life was never meant to stay. And what is meant for you will find its way to you at the right time, in the right way, by the will of Allah. Patience is often misunderstood. Many people think patience means being silent, feeling no pain, or pretending that everything is okay. But true patience, sabr, will much deeper than that. It is not the absence of pain, it is the strength to continue despite the pain. It is the strength to continue despite the pain. It is when your heart feels heavy, your mind is overwhelmed, and yet you still choose to turn to Allah instead of turning away from Him. There are moments when life tests you in ways you never expected. You feel exhausted from waiting, tired of making the same du'as, and discouraged because things are not changing. In those moments, patience becomes difficult. It is not easy to hold on when everything inside you wants to give up. But this is exactly where the beauty of sabr lies. It is in the struggle itself, not in perfection, when you remain pathy. And even while struggling, Allah sees that effort. He sees the tears you wipe away. He sees the way you still raise your hands in dua even when your kalban heart feels weak. He sees how you stop yourself from falling into despair and instead choose to trust Him, even when you don't understand His plan. This kind of patience is incredibly valuable in the sight of Allah because it is sincere and real. Patience is not passive, it is active. It is waking up every day and choosing faith again. It is continuing to pray, continuing to hope, and continuing to believe that Allah is working behind the scenes, even when you cannot see any immediate results. It is trusting that delays are not denials and that Allah's timing is always perfect. Even when it feels slow, one of the most powerful aspects of patience is that it invites the response of Allah, not necessarily in the way you expect and not always immediately, but in the way that is best for you. Sometimes the response comes as inner peace. You may still be in the same situation, but your heart feels lighter, more at ease, more connected to Allah. Other times the response comes as a change in your circumstances, where Allah opens doors you never imagined. There are also moments when the reward of your patience is saved for the akhirah. And when you see that reward, you will realize that every second of patience was worth it. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that the believer is rewarded for every difficulty they endure, even something as small as a prick of a thorn. This means that none of your patience is wasted. Every moment is counted, every struggle is seen, and every effort is rewarded. Patience also transforms you. It builds strength within your character. It teaches you reliance on Allah instead of reliance on people or outcomes. It deepens your faith and makes your connection with Allah more sincere. Over time, you begin to realize that patience is not just about waiting for something to change. It is about becoming someone stronger, someone more grounded, and someone closer to Allah. So even when patience feels heavy, remind yourself that it is not empty. It's full of meaning, full of reward, and full of unseen khair, goodness, and the response of Allah to your patience, in whatever form it comes, will always be better than what you imagined, will always be better than what you imagined. After every hardship, there comes a moment when things begin to change, even if it is slow and almost unnoticeable at first. When you are in the middle of pain, it feels like it will last forever. The days feel heavy, the nights feel longer, and your qalbun, heart, struggles to find peace, but Allah in His mercy has not created hardship as a permanent state. It is always followed by growth, healing, and something better, whether in this life or the next. Growth is one of the first gifts that comes after difficulty. You may not realize it immediately, but the person you become through hardship is not the same person you were before it. You become stronger, more aware, and more connected to Allah. The things that once shook you no longer have the same power over you. You begin to understand life differently. Your priorities shift, your qalbim softens, and your reliance on Allah deepens. This kind of growth cannot be taught through ease. It is shaped through struggle. Healing is another mercy that Allah places after pain. At first, it may feel like your wounds will never close. You may think that the sadness will always stay with you, but Allah has created the heart in a way that it can heal, even after being broken. Slowly, the intensity of the pain begins to fade. The memories that once made you cry start to hurt less. You begin to find moments of peace again, even if they are small. And over time, those small moments grow into a sense of calm, al-yam that settles within you. Sometimes Allah replaces what you lost with something better. This does not always mean a direct replacement in the same form, but it means something that is more beneficial for your life and your akira. It could be a better opportunity, a healthier relationship, or even a new path that you never considered before. And when it comes, you may look back and realize that if the earlier hardship had not happened, you would have never reached this higher goodness. There is also a deeper kind of better that comes after hardship, and that is the closeness to Allah. When you go through pain and turn to Allah sincerely, your relationship with Him transforms. You begin to know Him in a way you didn't before. You feel His presence in your life more clearly. Your dua becomes more heartfelt, your salah more meaningful, and your trust in Him more solid. This closeness is one of the greatest gifts a believer can receive, and it often comes through trials. It is important to remember that something better does not always look the way you expect. Sometimes the change happens within you rather than around you. Your circumstances may not shift immediately, but your perspective does. You find contentment where you once felt frustration. You feel peace where there was once anxiety. And that inner transformation is, in itself, a powerful form of relief. Allah's promise is true. Hardship is not the end of the story. Hardship is not the end of the story. It is a chapter that leads to something greater. Even if you cannot see it now, even if you are still waiting, trust that what is coming is being prepared with care and wisdom. And when it finally unfolds, you will understand that every moment of pain had a purpose, and every struggle was leading you towards something far better than you imagined.